Hi, everyone. Let's call the meeting to order. Welcome to the City Council Business Meeting for Wednesday, December 22nd, 2021. Let's rise and say the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, please.
Councilman Scringy,
Present.
Councilwoman Riley,
Present.
Councilwoman Friedman,
Present.
Councilman Burns,
Present.
Councilman Strawn,
Present.
Councilman Scanlon,
Present.
and President Resnetti.
Present.
That's all 7 here.
Thank you. We have the approval of minutes. Councilman Scaringi.
Thank you, Madam President. I stand and ask for unanimous approval for the meeting minutes, business meeting minutes for December 8th, 2021.
All in favor? Oh, I need a second motion.
Second.
Second.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. All right, so we're going to move on now to our public hearings. We have 3 public hearings tonight, actually, and we'll do obviously one at a time, and we'll let Mr. Rogers here tell us about how folks can participate.
Okay, so we have 3 public hearings tonight. We'll do them one at a time. The first public hearing will be regarding RL 21-261, entitled A Resolution Authorizing a Grant Application to the New York State Office of Community Renewal, Community Development Block Grant, COVID-19 Response Program. And those wishing to speak tonight during the public hearing on this topic, they just need to click the raise hand button and leave it raised, and we will allow you to speak one by one. Each speaker will be given 5 minutes to address City Council, and they should state their full name and if they live or work in the city of Binghamton. And if you'd like to speak on the public hearing for the grant application, please click the raise hand button.
Ma'am? Okay, I will entertain a motion to close this public hearing.
So moved.
All in favor?
Need the second,
Second.
Madam President.
Thank you. Anyone
Second.
opposed? Okay,
Aye.
thank you. We'll move on to our next one, Mr. Clerk.
Okay, so for our second public hearing, this will be regarding RL 21-281, entitled An Ordinance to Modify the Fire Station Bond. Again, those wishing to speak, please click the raise hand button and leave it raised, and you'll be given 5 minutes.
Any same hands? Okay, I will entertain a motion to close this public hearing. Can I have a second? Or a motion? Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? All right. So let's move on to the last one.
So our third public hearing tonight will be regarding RL 21-288, entitled An Ordinance to Modify the 2015 Bond for the Reconstruction of State Street. And once again, if you'd like to speak during this public hearing on the State Street bond, please click the raise hand button and leave it raised. We have one person's name is
Do you
John.
have me?
Yes, please state your full name and if you live or work in the city of Binghamton.
John Solak, Binghamton, New York. I was on the telephone for the other two public hearings. I wanted to speak. Apparently, you don't have the facilities or are unwilling to take phone calls from the public. Is that what I understand? That the only way to participate in these public hearings is to be on Zoom and not be on the telephone?
Mr. Solik, if you'd like to speak on the other two, go ahead.
Excuse me, I didn't hear you. Can you hear me?
We can hear you. Can you hear me?
Go ahead.
If you would like to speak on the other two, go ahead.
Okay. Refresh my memory on the other
We'll give you
two.
5 minutes for each. I'll read the
Okay,
first one again. It's a public hearing regarding RL 21-261, a resolution authorizing a grant application to the New York State Office of Community Renewal Community Development Block Grant for COVID-19 response program.
Okay. Every time I hear COVID, I think of the tobacco money. And I don't know. I think this money is perverted because you refer to it as COVID money, but it doesn't seem to go to any thing that is COVID related. Obviously, there are strings. You have to accept grants. And I have never heard of anybody from the city of Binghamton in recent memory, 20 years or so, talk about the unintended consequences of grants or the compliance costs. It seems to be that you just take the money and worry about other things later. You don't know what you're getting into many times, and you just take the money. Now, we can get artificial intelligence to do that. But I think there should be a discussion. And the thing is that do you really know the parameters of these grants? Do you really know what it is going to go for? Do you know any of these things? Are you interested at all? But you are authorizing costs to the city of Binghamton unrelated to the grant. And, you know, we find out about this much later. Oh, well, we can't do that with the grant. We thought we could do this with the grant. Oh, no, that's not what the grant's for. The grant's for somebody to create photo ops to run for the New York State Senate. You know, so this is what we're getting into here. Look, you know, and then we hear about earmarks all the time. You know, this is a mandate. If we could only do away with these state mandates, the state. But yet these same fellas and ladies never met a government grant that they didn't like. Regardless, again, we're going about unintended consequences. Due diligence. This is, as it is written, maybe you have more information on this, but as it is written, to me, there's more questions than answers on these things. So this catch-all COVID jazz is wearing a little thin. And then there's nobody, for example, you've got COVID money supposedly to pay people's rents. Now we're finding out that the landlords are trying to double dip or double pump or throw out their tenants saying you didn't pay. The tenants themselves don't know whether they've been made whole, whether the landlord has been made whole or not. The public should know. A list should be published of all landlords, great and small, from the housing authority on down as to who got what from these programs in the landlords. So look, I've accepted the fact that Binghamton is an entitlement community, but what I would like it to be very much is an well-managed, less larcenous entitlement community. That's the devil in the details. So again, there's a lot of people that are on the meeting. Do we have a quorum, by the way? Is 4 a quorum? I guess it is. Is there a quorum here? I'm only seeing. Okay, there he is. Okay. The quorum is my curiosity on the quorum itself. But I just think that you know that
You have 1 minute left.
Okay, in 1 minute, when you get your chance to talk, or take my minute, tell me more about this grant, because I think people have got ideas on where it's going before it leaves, before any council person gets a say on it. So that's it. Honesty is the best policy. I don't know who said it, but it wasn't Rich David.
Thank you. Would you like to speak on the second public hearing?
If you'll introduce the RL for me, yeah.
It's RL 21-281, an ordinance to modify the fire station bond.
Okay. I'd love to know how much we're paying for that temporary fire station. The fire station, it's interesting. The whole idea behind the governmental plaza was the centralization. It was going to be a one-stop shop for all things government. And the fire station was there. We moved away from the central fire station, which, if you don't know, that would be where the No Theater is. Fully functional building, nice concrete floors, could hold nice brass fire poles. So we sold that to move to the governmental plaza. And then all of a sudden, Zukoski wanted to build this intelligence center, and the fire trucks went out. They're resting at the Matthews family thing that was supposed to be the high-tech job center. They were going to create high-tech jobs. Now there's a mental health agency in there. But it's interesting to me that, you know, I know the firefighters endorse people. Why not? If they built me a palace like that, and I was a firefighter, and I'm going to sit on my leather couch and watch Wheel of Fortune between calls, I'd endorse him too. But this is a complete waste. It is destroying and disturbing what's left of that neighborhood. And this is just what you get when you get little kids, inexperienced young snots like Jared Cram and Rich David, who will have money that they want to spend to position themselves politically. I think if you gave at the beginning of this, of course, nobody knows the condition of the old fire station because it really wasn't made public. All of a sudden, it was an emergency. We had to get out of there and build a new fire station. And by the way, that property was available. It was in foreclosure and bankruptcy. A speculator bought that property for peanuts. And then all of a sudden, I think he's from Geneseo or somewhere, or Rochester, but he made a big pop on that property. So no, I'm against this refinancing, this additional bonding, because quite frankly, I'm against the fire station because it was a waste. It was politically motivated. There was no indication whatsoever. I foiled the report for the thing, never received a response. It would seem to me that if somebody said, we're going to move out of a public building because this is an emergency, the floor is, it's not able to do anything, then why wouldn't you have a stack of papers on your desk? So when Johnny Boy speaks at these things, you would be able to wave those papers, much like Gordon Wackett used to wave those papers around and say, I got the reports right here. That building is structurally unsound. No, it was the fire guys got a new station. God bless them. The police guys got an expanded police station to twiddle their thumbs. And we can't even get an explanation of what went on at the Colonial. Wait. So no, I'm against this bond. Thank you.
Okay, so now we are back on the third public hearing for tonight, which is regarding RL 21-288, entitled an ordinance to modify the 2015 bond for the reconstruction of State Street.
Okay, here we are reconstructing State Street. 6x6 blocks are an obsession. They've been an obsession since urban renewal. A downtown 6, if you want to stretch it, 8x6 blocks. You want to know something? I'm concerned about Main Street. I'm concerned about Riverside Drive. I'm concerned about all these streets that are in terrible, terrible repair. The snow plows, by the way, go over the concrete. They do I've never seen this. My memory is not faulty. I never have seen streets fall apart faster than they're falling apart now. I've never seen bridges and sidewalks and curbs fall apart faster than they fall apart now. I lived off West End Avenue. I remember as a boy, that street was paved once. And it was, I rode my bicycle. Everybody's memory, I'm sure Joe has memories of this, of these streets lasting much longer. Either we're using too much salt, either the plows are heavier, or either we're not getting workman-like jobs in the beginning, but these streets are not lasting. So we're going to redo State Street and we're going to amend the budget. All I know is this, amend the bond, I guess. All I know is this, is that nobody and these professionals there that sit around on the fourth floor of City Hall and read governance magazine and play around on the internet, they don't seem to have their ducks in a row on any of these things, because it's constantly has to be reconfigured, and no, it's not that, not this. We spent a lot of money on State Street, and what are we spending it for? Are we spending it, for example, for the students, which seem to occupy most of this? Well, that's money that's out of Robinson Street. It's money that's out of Shenango Street. Oh, speaking of unworkmanlike jobs, that viaduct or whatever it is there, it looks like a Burns movie from Los Angeles there, the Pasadena Tunnel. That's all done. So I don't know what to tell you. I think this city is sloppily managed. I think it's run on a whim. I think it's run on partisanship. I don't hear a whole lot of discussion. And again, 3 public hearings I've spoken at. Now, I would expect at the end of the meeting, for my edification, for the edification of these citizens that are going to view this, that the city council will make their feelings and their observations and their understanding of these 3 issues tonight for the public. Thank you.
Thank you. Would anyone else like to speak on the third public hearing, which is an ordinance to modify the 2015 bond for the reconstruction of State Street? If you'd like to speak on this, please raise your hand and keep it raised.
I will then entertain a motion to close this public hearing.
So moved.
Someone second that, please. Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Okay, thank you. We also have another public hearing that we need to set for our next business meeting. Ms. Rogers?
Okay, so Binghamton City Council and the mayor will hold a public hearing regarding RL 21-296, which is a resolution to start demolition of the Water Street parking ramp at Bos Cobb's beginning at 5 a.m. This public hearing will take place during the next regular city council business meeting at 6 p.m. on January 5th, 2022 in City Hall and virtually via Zoom. Residents wishing to submit comments may do so electronically through email prior to 1 p.m. on the day of the meeting to clerk@cityofbinghamton.com or virtually via Zoom during the meeting. For any other questions, please contact the city clerk's office.
Okay, thank you. At this time, I would also like to announce the City Council Annual Organizational Meeting. We'll hold this meeting via Zoom, just like we've been doing, just prior to our next work session, 5:30 p.m. So we will set the Annual City Council Organizational Meeting for Monday, January 3rd, 2022 at 5:30 via Zoom. And I'll have the clerk send out the meeting notice for that soon. At this point, we're going to move on to public comment. Please be respectful. You have 5 minutes to speak. And you can tell folks how to join us.
So once again, if you'd like to speak during public comment via Zoom, please click the raise hand button and leave it raised, and we will allow you to speak one by one. And please state your full name and if you live or work in the city of Binghamton. Okay, at this time, we'll allow John Solak to speak.
Thank you very much. In 1969 or 70, Al Libas, mayor, issued an edict that banned Binghamton police officers from doing private security. Now, the reason that I know this is I was doing shows and events and I was hiring Binghamton police officers. For the princely sum of $40 for a 4-hour shift, $10 an hour, which would be probably $100 now. Al Libas decided that there was a conflict of interest, that there was problems with the police, as many departments did, and he banned moonlighting. At some point in the 80s, this changed. I don't know who changed it or why it changed, but police officers were allowed to work the State Street bar strip and other things. I know that when the arena first opened, Officer Nikki Markadis got a deal and got in there. And it was when I brought that up, they said, well, that's a public building and there was no county security. But I think the real thing here is, why do police officers moonlight? And is it a good thing for the city taxpayers? Do they need the extra money and the conflicts of interest that this creates? Now, it looks to me, I know that they were working, checking the doors at various bars on State Street. And this doesn't give the police department independence from what's going on there. And now we see this mess. And, you know, I've said this before, you know, this is only a few people make the money on State Street. Only a few people, handful of people make the money on the students. This Queller thing is a $5 million a year business. That's what they're splitting up. And we've got to get to the bottom of it. And to tell you the truth, if the police have anybody that has gotten, oh, and by the way, is this a paycheck deal or is this a cash money deal? Is this a 1099? I personally observed the mayor issuing, when he used to run flashbacks and Paradigm, giving the checks to the officers. So they were working for the mayor of Binghamton. Now, this is somewhere there's a writing that allows the police officers to moonlight, whether it's in their contract, I don't know. But there should be a written policy as to what events they could work. So we've got to get to the bottom of this. And quite frankly, these detectives have no business, especially after the mayoral endorsement. They have no business investigating this. They're investigating their own. Is this a matter for internal affairs, or is this a matter? It should be handed over to the state police. That's the way you do it, and it needs to be done in a no-nonsense manner, because now we find out that there may be a mortgage. Now, the mayor said on the radio on WMBF that he has no equity interest in those bars. But we are now under the operating under the assumption that the mayor does indeed have a mortgage out with Queller and Company. So you can mince words. That's an interest. It may not be an equity interest, but it is a mortgage interest. So if these bars have the audacity to open back up, and one of them's liquor license runs out on New Year's Eve, I've spoken with the investigators for the New York SLA. We've got inconsistencies in those applications. There's one woman on LinkedIn that claims she's the owner of 6 bars. That's her LinkedIn profile. If you go into the records of
You
the
have 1 minute
SLA,
left.
you find something else entirely. Finally, let me talk about Dr. Abdelazim. Much sympathy and condolences to the Abdelazim family. Here's a man that could have gone anywhere. A lot of people say that, well, I could live anywhere. No, this guy was a superstar. He gave a second and third chance at life to other people. Ironically, and the sad ironic irony of his own life is that he had a condition that couldn't be worked on currently by medical science. But he invested millions of dollars in this community. And he took this heart program here from Podunk to where, well, it helped me out. He ran an independent medical practice too. He was bigger than life, a flamboyant character. I remember being in Miami and opening up the Miami paper in 1983, and there was a big article about Dr. Abdelazim in the Miami paper. So he was truly a credit to this area. He was truly bigger than life. And
Your 5 minutes is up.
okay, thank you.
Okay, our next speaker that we will allow to speak is Tina Panopoulos.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, great. My name is Tina Panopoulos. I live on Laurel Avenue in Sophia Resnitis district. Haven't really prepared anything for this evening. One thing that I wanted to talk about is that I see there is a piece of legislation on the table tonight to sell 2 parcels to the YWCA and contribute $500,000 from ARPA funds towards this facility. I just wanted to let you know, in case you weren't aware, that the old Urban League building on Carroll Street that has been sold, I think, for $999,999. That used to belong to that slumlord you've all been told about, Ansarut. And apparently this building was purchased by him a year ago for $270,000. So I'm just curious, like where that like discrepancy in original price bought and in price sold comes from. And the reason I'm asking is because apparently the city is going to contribute $500,000 from the ARPA money, and there's also going to be a state grant. But I mean, apparently the building needs to be renovated for $4 million. So did Ansarut do anything to the building to warrant this price increase from $270,000 to $999,999? Like, did anyone look into this at all? I'm just curious, you know, since some of you at least seem to be interested in making sure money doesn't get wasted, I thought you might want to know about this. And then, of course, the other thing that I wanted to talk about was the mayor, as the previous caller talked about. I thought I'd actually put some flesh on those bones. In January 2017, Confluence Properties 2 LLC, which belongs basically to Rich David, and I think the first name of our mayor is perhaps telling here, provided a mortgage to Court and State LLC, which is a limited liability company that owns the Colonial and Dos Rios, provided a mortgage for $588,000 so that they could purchase 60 Court Street. And you can look this up on the Broome County Clerk's page. You can see the mortgage there. That happened, I'm not sure exactly of the date in January, but 2017 is the date. And so this seems to be in direct contradiction to what Rich David said on Bob Joseph's radio show a couple of weeks ago, when he said, at no point in time have I ever had any sort of interest, ownership, financial or otherwise, in the businesses or the parent organization. And I'm just wondering, I've asked this question here before, was the mayor, was he lying when he said that? Do we have people here in the city who lie? I mean, I've asked the question before of Council President Resniti and I never got an answer. Seems
You've 1 minute left.
Seems that some of you really like to play fast and loose. And I'm also curious to hear from the people on this council who see themselves as defenders of women and children. Are you going to say something about the rampant misogyny in the business community in Binghamton or even in City Hall? And Councilwoman Resniti, are you ever going to apologize to Angela Riley for how the mayor talked about her? Are you going to do it? You're such a big defender of women's rights. Looking really forward to hearing what you've got to say. And your silence, as always, speaks louder than any word ever will. Look at you all.
Thank you. Are there any other speakers? Please raise your hand and leave it raised.
Okay, then we're going to move on to tonight's preferred agenda. Would anyone like to pull anything from the preferred agenda before we move? Councilwoman Riley?
Yes, before we move forward, there is a letter I received and forwarded. Again, if Lee can just go over the process to have letters read from our constituents into the minutes, so people are aware. The process is to email you, the clerk, first, and not just individual council people, but we will move forward. But can you just give a brief overview before I read this letter I've shared with everyone?
Yes, so typically the process is before 1 p.m. the day of the meeting, you can email clerk@cityofbinghamton.com if you have anything for public comment or a public hearing that's going on that evening. And those messages will be forwarded to council, and any council member has the option of reading it into the record if they wish.
Perfect.
I could also read it.
Perfect. I did receive a letter from a constituent and I shared that with everyone. So I'm going to read it on their behalf. This is from Mr. Nate Hotchkiss. He lives in the city of Binghamton. During Jared Cram's mayoral campaign, he promised to be tough on slumlords. He went as far as naming Isaac Anzarut, Binghamton's most notorious slumlord. Now, after being elected, we're seeing Jared effectively asking to move $500,000 of ARPA funds into the hands of Anzarut through the sale of the Urban League building to the YWCA. This is painful to witness. I would like to ask the City Council to please vote no to issuing these funds to YWCA. Please take time to explore options around the sale of the building. If possible, the profits that are made from the sale of the building should go back into the neighborhoods that are being damaged by Anzarud's unethical business practices. Thank you for your consideration, Mr. Nate Hotchkiss. Thank you. That concludes all of the correspondence I've received directly.
Okay. So we'll go back to, if there's no one else, no other correspondence, we'll go back to the question of, would anyone like to pull anything from the preferred agenda? Councilwoman Friedman.
Thank you, Madam President. I would like to please remove Introductory Ordinance 21-167 and Introductory Resolution 21-102 from the preferred agenda, please.
Can you repeat that? It was 167 and 102?
Introductory Ordinance 167 and Introductory Resolution 102.
Okay. 102.
Thanks.
Okay, so I'll have the clerk introduce the preferred agenda items.
Okay, so the first item on tonight's preferred agenda is Introductory Ordinance 21-145, considered in finance. And this is an ordinance to amend the 2021 law budget for personal services.
Any discussion?
Next, we have Introductory Ordinance 21-146, considered in finance. And this is an ordinance to amend the 2021 fire budget for personal services and fuel.
Any discussion?
Next, we have Introductory Ordinance 21-147, considered in finance, and this is an ordinance to amend the 2021 Parks and Recreation budget for additional pool costs.
Any discussion?
Next is Introductory Ordinance 21-148, considered in finance, and this is an ordinance to amend the 2021 DPW budget for various expenses.
Any discussion?
Next, we have Introductory Ordinance 21-149, considered in finance, and this is an ordinance to amend the 2021 engineering budget for overtime.
Any discussion?
Next, we have Introductory Ordinance 21-150, considered in finance, and this is an ordinance to amend the 2021 police budget for temporary services.
Any discussion?
Next, we have Introductory Ordinance 21-151, considered in finance, and this is an ordinance to amend the 2021 fire budget for overtime and out of title pay.
Any discussion?
Next, we have Introductory Ordinance 21-152, considered in finance, and this is an ordinance to amend the 2021 comptroller budget for temporary services.
Any comments?
Next, we have Introductory Ordinance 21-153, considered in finance, and this is an ordinance to amend the 2021 on-street parking budget for personal services.
Any comments?
Next is Introductory Ordinance 21-154, considered in finance, and this is an ordinance to amend the 2021 insurance fund for legal services.
Any discussion?
Next is Introductory Ordinance 21-155, considered in the Employees Committee, and it's an ordinance to amend the Code of the City of Binghamton, Chapter 124, Personnel Policies, to clarify language for retirees.
Any comments?
Next, we have Introductory Ordinance 21-157, considered in finance, and this is an ordinance to amend the 2021 water budget due to a water main break.
Any comments?
Next, we have Introductory Ordinance 21-160, considered in finance, and this is an ordinance to amend the 2021 Parks and Recreation budget for the Parks Garage Group.
Any comments?
Next, we have Introductory Ordinance 21-161, considered in finance, and this is an ordinance to amend the 2021 DPW budget for overtime.
Any comments?
Next, we have Introductory Ordinance 21-162, considered in finance, and that's an ordinance to amend the 2021 fire budget for travel and training.
Any discussion?
Next, we have Introductory Ordinance 21-163, considered in finance. And this is an ordinance to amend the 2021 capital budget to purchase up to 5 vehicles.
Any discussion?
Can I jump in for 1 second? I'm sorry, that was amended. It's up to 6 vehicles. The legislation that was signed should say 6 vehicles.
Correct.
Thank you, Ken. Okay. So next we have Introductory Ordinance 21-164, considered in finance. And this is an ordinance to amend the 2021 general fund budget to transfer $7 million to the parking ramp reserve fund.
Any comments?
Next, we have Introductory Ordinance 21-165, considered in finance. And this is an ordinance to amend the 2021 central garage budget for various expenses.
Comments?
Next, we have Introductory Ordinance 21-166, considered in finance. And this is an ordinance to amend the 2021 budget to allocate American Rescue Plan Act funds for premium pay to CSC workers.
Any comments?
Next, we have Introductory Resolution 21-100. And this is considered in finance, and it's a resolution authorizing the mayor to submit a grant application to accept a New York State Office of Community Renewal Community Development Block Grant COVID-19 response.
Any comments?
Next, we have Introductory Resolution 21-103, considered in planning. And this is a resolution authorizing the mayor to amend the agreement with the YWCA for use of CVY 46 funds for laundry upgrades.
Any comments?
Next, we have Introductory Resolution 21-104, considered in planning. And this is a resolution to accept the Home ARP preliminary award from HUD.
Any comments?
Next, we have Introductory Resolution 21-105, considered in the Public Works and Parks Committee. And this is a resolution authorizing Social on State to conduct a fireworks display on New Year's Eve 2021 through 2022 at midnight.
Any discussion?
Next, we have Introductory Resolution 21-106, considered in planning. And this is a resolution authorizing the mayor to adopt the stadium district master plan for the area surrounding Maravdo Stadium.
Any comments? Councilwoman Freeman?
Thank you, Madam President. So I know that we've been talking about this and developing the Stadium District Master Plan for a long time. And I know that Whittam Planning has been working obviously very hard for this. And I am excited about this. I also want to reaffirm my commitment to affordable, low-cost housing and not displacing anybody at the cost of creating a certain look or a destination in this area. So I think it's possible. I know it's possible because we're going to make it possible to have the stadium district become a destination, a place that people want to come to, that they want to travel to from out of the area, out of the district, and also honor the residents who already live here, who have lived here for a long time, and have a nice balance between low cost, high quality housing and beautiful housing, I guess. It's a hard line, and this is something that I talk about a lot, that it's a hard line to toe between, we want to obviously invest in low cost, high quality housing, but not price people out. So I did want to say that I'm excited to adopt this plan with the caveat that it's really, really so important to me and the people in that district who are living there that we do it in a way that is ethical, that lifts everybody up, including the residents, including myself, who already live here. So thank you so much, and I'm excited to adopt this master plan.
Any other comments?
Okay, the next item is Introductory Resolution 21-107, considered in the Planning Committee. And this is a resolution authorizing the mayor to enter into an agreement with the Broome County Council of Churches for the child program.
Any comments?
Next is Introductory Resolution 21-108, considered in the Employees Committee. And this is a resolution authorizing the mayor to enter into an agreement with Excelis Health Plan Incorporated to administer the city vision plan.
Comments?
Next is Introductory Resolution 21-109, considering the MPA Committee. And this is a resolution authorizing the mayor to modify the IMA water agreement with the town of Vestal.
Comments?
Next, we have Introductory Resolution 21-110, considered in the Finance Committee. And this is a resolution authorizing the mayor to enter into a supplemental agreement number 1 with Barton and LaJudas for engineering design and right-of-way services for the Main Street corridor study and safety improvements. And that's PIN 9754.37.
Comments?
Next is Introductory Resolution 21-112, considered in the Employees Committee. This is a resolution amending Permanent Resolution 21-88 to acknowledge ARPA funding for premium pay.
Any discussion?
Motion to accept the preferred agenda as amended, Madam President.
Second.
Thank you. For roll call, please.
Councilman Scaringi,
Aye.
Councilwoman Riley,
Aye.
Councilwoman Friedman,
Aye.
Councilman Burns,
Aye.
thank you. Councilman Strawn,
Aye.
Councilman Scanlon,
Aye.
and President Rosnetti.
Aye.
That's 7 ayes, 0 nays.
Okay, thank you, everyone. So we are going to move on now to our non-preferred agenda. We have some items on there, and our first item actually includes a seeker. Introductory Ordinance 21-156, considered finance with Councilman Strong. Councilman?
Excuse me. Thank you, Madam President. The Introductory Ordinance 21-156 is an ordinance amending the bond for the construction of the new fire station. And as Madam President said, we have a seeker motion for that. I will do that now. I make a motion to declare a type 2 action under seeker for the following reasons. City Council declared itself lead agency for this project on January 20th, 2021, when the bond for construction of the new fire station was approved. This proposed increase in cost for the new fire station does not change the scope or environmental impact of the project. Therefore, I make a motion to declare this amendment to the bond as a type 2 action.
Second.
Thank you. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed? Okay, passes. Councilman Strong, please continue.
Thank you, Madam President. Ask Council for unanimous consideration for Introductory Ordinance 21-156, an ordinance amending the bond for the construction of the new fire station.
Second.
Any discussion? Councilwoman Riley. I'm sorry, Friedman.
Thank you, Madam President. I'm sure that you all have heard by now how much my constituents hate this project, and I represent them. And for to have this project that is noisy and invasive, and you could argue like could have been constructed in a different location, and now to be make, charging essentially, upping the bill. I know it's done necessarily, but, upping the bill for a very expensive project that my constituents are not thrilled about. Because I represent them and it's my job to amplify their voices and represent what they want, I can't support this, unfortunately. Thanks.
Anyone else? Okay, would anyone like to call a question?
Call a question, Madam President.
Madam
Question.
President, point of order. Are we still on the seeker? Or was the seek? Yeah, so we're not.
Councilman, no, there was only one seeker.
There was
motion,
only
so no.
one, there was only,
Right.
okay, because they
Right.
normally come in threes. Okay. my
Because it was a
apologies.
type 2 action, there was only one motion.
That's right, it wasn't a type one.
And we had done it before.
Yep, my apologies, Madam President.
Okay,
Thanks
so
for the
question who called?
clarification.
Roll call, please.
Councilman Scaringi,
Aye.
Councilwoman Riley,
Nay.
Councilwoman Friedman,
Nay.
Councilman Burns,
Aye.
Councilman Strawn,
Aye.
Councilman Scanlon,
Aye.
and President Rossetti.
Aye.
Okay, that's 5 ayes, 2 nays, Riley and Friedman.
Thank you. Now we have introductory ordinance 21-158 considered in finance. Councilman Strawn.
Thank you, Madam President. I ask council for unanimous consideration of introductory ordinance 21-158, an ordinance to allocate American Rescue Plan Act funds for affordable housing at the Town and Country Apartments.
Second that.
You any discussion? Councilwoman Friedman.
Thank you, Madam President. It's kind of funny how we have been talking about affordable housing and specifically using ARPA funds for affordable housing. And yet I'm like almost always disappointed with how we go about implementing that. So this $3 million, if we invest $3 million to affordable housing on the surface, that sounds like something I can get behind. However, there are a few things that don't sit right with me when it comes to this piece of legislation. And I also was recently made aware that the property is in contract to be sold. And so the timing of investing $3 million of federal COVID relief funds right before this property is sold amounts to a $3 million subsidy. I just found out about, some new information regarding this, and it's such a large amount of money that I need to learn more. And so I'm going to make a motion to hold this over.
Second.
Second. Oh,
Thank you. That was second? Seconded? Thank you. I'm gonna hold that over.
Council President.
Councilwoman Riley, go ahead. I'm sorry, it wasn't.
Yes,
looking.
thank you. I'd also like to have it noted, we were promised to receive the original legislation from 2019 so that were fully apprised of what was discussed and agreed upon prior to any COVID money being a part of the project. And so since we have yet to receive such, nor have we received the information that was also shared that the state would guarantee that this property that we're allocating potentially $3 million to would uphold certain structures and promises to ensure the safety and the availability of quality low-income housing for the residents of Binghamton. We did not receive that either. So again, we are without information to make a decision about a large chunk of money. And yes, it sounds good on the surface, but and perhaps the ED person that the mayor mentioned is the buyer. But how are we having conversations with a potential buyer if they are not the owners? I just have a lot of questions. If you're not the owner, why are we entertaining the potential buyer with potential funding, federal funding? It's a lot of questions. And again, we were promised these documents. I've not received them. Thank you.
Thank you. We are holding this over, and I would like to, can we schedule a meeting for Monday?
Yes. So you'd like to schedule a special meeting for Monday?
Monday, the 27th.
Is there any members of council who are busy Monday evening at 5:30?
Lee, forgive me, what was that date and time again?
Monday, December 27th at 5:30 p.m.
I may be busy. If you could just give me 1 second to check. I don't believe I'm available that day, but let me double check.
I have a conflict. I definitely have a conflict. I am available Tuesday, however.
If possible, I'd like to put it a little farther out, just so we can make sure we get all the information.
Agreed.
I know that the mayor, he explained that we're just setting the money aside, and that when it came to actually spend the money, that Mayor Cram would then have to come to the city council and get approval to go into a contract to whoever that would be. But it would be
It's
nice.
either
if
Monday
we-
or Tuesday night, because I hear what you're saying. So how about Tuesday? That would be I can make it Tuesday, 5:30. Okay.
Will we have the necessary information to make a sound decision as representatives of our constituents?
I mean, we can certainly reach out to the mayor's office and try and get that information.
Okay, because he told us we would have it Monday night.
I'm wondering if there's a reason, like a particular deadline that we have to meet where we couldn't just.
Will not be able to meet after that date.
Business meeting?
Councilwoman Friedman, due to some family engagements and my children. So there's no way I can make it after the 28th. So I'm proposing the Monday. I hear the Monday is not a good day for some of you. I will be able to attend Tuesday night. So
Now,
I'm saying if we vote on it at the next business meeting. I don't think there's a particular deadline or reason why this needs to be voted on at a special business meeting. I think we could probably wait until the next regularly scheduled business meeting, no?
Scanlon, go ahead.
Thank you, Madam President. There's no reason why we can't vote on this. The information may come or may not. Nobody here can answer that. Councilwoman Riley, so that's up to you and the mayor, I guess. Well, there's no reason we can't vote on this on Tuesday. Thank you.
so you want to vote on something you don't have oh, I forgot, Tom, you were there. So you may have a copy. Can you forward it to us? Because if I don't have the information, I don't want to vote.
I'm not going to take the time to find a copy for you. The mayor can probably do that for you.
I'm sure someone can get a copy and the information that Councilwoman Riley is requesting. Councilman Strong.
Yeah, I just wanted to mention, if my recollection is right, with the mayor's presentation the other night, is that the state had called, or the state had contacted his office about this, and then Councilman Burns's recollection is correct as far as agrees with my recollection that the money is actually not going to literally be spent until all the other parameters are in place. So I'm not sure if that timing from the state created, some urgency or not. Maybe that's another question we can get answered by to answer Councilman Freeman's question. I think that maybe there is a timing for the state to know that the funding is in place so they can move forward with their end. So maybe that's part of the information we can get as well.
Yeah, and the information I'm also interested in is that when Mayor Cram goes into this agreement to whoever it is, that are we going to then give money to the person who's going to be doing the work that's going to be changing people's lives? I'm all for changing and helping the people. There's 250 apartments there. And if we can help 250 families, that would be a great thing. But I just want to make sure that that's where the money's going and not, if the place is being sold, I mean, it's not going to the seller, for instance. It's actually going to be held over till after that sale is all made and the work is going to start, and then we're going to then give the money. That's what I'm interested in. Thanks. As well as what my others.
So the special business meeting on December 28th at 5:30 p.m. It's a Tuesday. Please let us know if you're unable to make that.
Sorry, Lee, let you know now.
Anytime now or
Okay.
soon is fine.
I mean, it's fine. I can make it. And Councilman Strawn, I think you brought up maybe a good point that there's maybe a deadline that we don't know about, but I don't think that we need to be scheduling meetings based on hypothetical deadlines that we're guessing might exist when we don't know. And I think that's the whole theme about this, is that we don't know a lot of things, and this is a lot of money. So, it's fine. I'll come to the meeting, of course, but it seems like we're, my opinion is that we're scheduling a special business meeting just for the sake of doing it that way. And I'm not quite sure why, but I will be there.
Okay, thank you. We are now moving on to Introductory Ordinance 21-159. Considered in finance. Councilman Strong.
Thank you, Madam President. Similar to the previous ordinance, this also has a one seeker motion. The ordinance 21-159 is an ordinance to amend the 2015 bond for the State Street reconstruction project. So under that, I make a motion to declare a type 2 action under seeker for the following reasons. City Council declared itself lead agency for this project on February 18th, 2015, when the bond for construction of the improvements to the State Street were approved. This proposed increase in cost for the improvements to State Street do not change the scope or environmental impact of the project. Therefore, I make a motion to declare this amendment to the bond as a type 2 action.
I'll second that.
Thank you. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
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 Anyone opposed? Okay, passes. Councilman Strong, please continue.
Thank you, Madam President. I now ask Council for unanimous consideration of Introductory Ordinance 21-159, an ordinance to amend the 2015 bond for the State Street reconstruction project.
Second.
Any discussion?
Call the
Someone like-
question, Madam President.
Thank you. Question be called. Roll call, please.
Councilman Scaringi,
Aye.
Councilwoman Riley,
Aye.
Councilwoman Friedman,
Aye.
Councilman Burns,
Aye.
Councilman Strawn,
Aye.
Councilman Scanlon,
Aye.
President Rosnetti.
Aye.
That's 7 ayes, 0 nays.
Next, we have Introductory Resolution 21-101, considering finance. Councilman Strong.
Thank you, Madam President. I ask Council for unanimous consideration of Introductory Resolution 21-101, a resolution authorizing the mayor to enter into supplemental agreement number 3 with Keystone Associates for additional fees for the new fire station.
Second.
Thank you. Any discussion? Someone like to call a question?
There's a hand, Madam President.
Oh, go ahead, Councilwoman Friedman.
Thank you, Madam President. I'm not going to repeat what I said before, but I just want to copy and paste that. Again, my constituents are not happy with this. So in representing them, I'm going to vote against the addition. Thanks.
Anyone else?
Call the question, Madam President.
Question been called. Roll call, please.
Councilman Scaringi,
Aye.
Councilwoman Riley,
Aye.
Councilwoman Friedman,
Nay.
Councilman Burns,
Aye.
Councilman Strawn,
Aye.
Councilman Scanlon,
Aye.
President Restinetti.
Aye.
That's 6 ayes, 1 nay, Friedman.
Moving on to Introductory Resolution 21-111, considered an MPA. Councilman Scanlon.
Thank you, Madam President. I stand and ask for a unanimous consideration for Resolution 21-111. A resolution authorizing the mayor to enter an agreement with New York State Department of Transportation for the installation of the water line in NYS RLW.
Second.
Any discussion?
Call the
Call
question,
question.
Madam President.
Thank you. Question be called. Roll call, please.
Councilman Scaringi,
Aye.
Councilwoman Riley,
Aye.
Councilwoman Friedman,
Aye.
Councilman Burns,
Aye.
Councilman Strawn,
Aye.
Councilman Scanlon,
Aye.
President Restinetti. That's 7 ayes, 0 nays.
We're going back to ordinance, Introductory Ordinance 21-167, considered in finance. Councilman Strawn.
Thank you, Madam President. As council for unanimous consideration of Introductory Ordinance 21-167, an ordinance authorizing the mayor to submit an amendment to the FY47 Annual Action Plan.
Second.
Thank you. Any discussion? Councilwoman Friedman.
Thank you, Madam President. I initially voted in favor of accepting the CDBG annual action plan. And that was, I believe, back in April. And since then, some things have come to light. For example, I'm thinking specifically about the proposed rec center in Columbus Park. And since we last voted on that or considered this, things have changed where maybe potentially St. Mary's Rec Center is up for sale. I'm not saying we will or won't buy it, or that might be on the table. It might not be. But given the fact that the landscape has changed, my opinion also has changed on allocating $600,000 out of the $1.9 million CDBG budget, which is about 1/3 of the budget, toward the rec center that may or may not be necessary at this point. So in light of that, I no longer think that this action plan best represents where this money could be spent to do the most good. And so my opinion on the appropriateness of this has changed. Thanks.
Thank you. Anyone else? Councilwoman Riley?
Yes, thank you, Council President Restinetti. Again, my hat goes off to all of the members of the community, our CDBG, CDAC team, for walking through all of the grants reviews and submitting this proposal to us. It is an arduous process, and they've taken the time to represent not only our constituents, but their constituents as well. Very early on, you heard my support of services and structures to help aid and guide our youth. However, you've also heard my continued commentary when we were presented with a proposal by the Park and Recs team, when they were unable to tell us about how much it would cost to maintain said facility, how many activities would be in said facility, how many employees would need to be hired in said facility, and how we would manage as a city this facility. So yes, it sounds great to establish a facility, but where is the organization, the committee to really do a strategic plan for said building if it really is something we intend to move forward with and see grow as it should for any project we're investing so much money in? Yes, the St. Mary's building is available. We've all heard it. We all know that there are several buildings in our city that are under the archdiocese that may be available. And this one is something I think as a council, again, I keep saying as a council because you guys were elected to represent your constituents. And that means having information and making decisions based upon information that you're given, not notes from whomever. But nevertheless, I digress. If we can do better and still provide the services for our community, for our youth, we need to investigate it. We also need to recognize, as Mr. Solak mentioned earlier, why the CDBG grant was given and why Binghamton was given so much money. We are an entitlement community. People are hurting, people are poor. And to invest such a large chunk, not only of our ARPA funds, because I said the same thing when we gave so much money to the building then, but I'm saying it again now that we're giving more money that's allocated to improving the lives of the target population. We're giving another large subset of the money to a building that you cannot tell me what will happen, what programs will be offered, how this will impact lives, how many employees will be in there, how much will the heat cost, how much will the city be required to pay to maintain said building. You can't give me that. So how can we move forward with such? How can we? So again, I say the same thing over and over. I would love something for our youth. I would love something where all of our youth in the city, because again, transportation is an issue. Children on the west side may not be able to get to the building. So nevertheless, I would love a solution for our youth that is accessible and actually has programs and services that have been shown through evidence-based strategies to improve lives. I don't see it. And so I don't support this. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Any other comments? Councilman Burns. You're muted.
Thank you, Madam President. And I too would like to, before I would vote yes on this, the money that's going towards the building, I too would like to see St. Mary's exhausted. I know that the mayor and Mayor-elect Cram have said that they went to St. Mary's and St. Mary's told them no, but they told them no when it wasn't for sale. It is now for sale. It wasn't for sale then. It is for sale now. And it was in their, the bulletin, just this last bulletin, that, you know, King Rice is moving forward with this, and we could even partner with King Rice. I mean, there's so many different things that we could do rather than spend this 600,000 and the other millions. I mean, you know, I would like to see all those things exhausted before we move ahead. Thanks.
Thank you. Anyone else? Okay, can someone call the question?
Call for question.
Call the question.
Called. Thank you. Thank you. A roll call, please.
Councilman Scringy,
Aye.
Councilwoman Riley,
Nay.
Councilwoman Friedman,
Nay.
Councilman Burns,
Nay.
Councilman Strawn,
Aye.
Councilman Scanlon,
Aye.
President Resnetti.
Aye.
That's 4 ayes, 3 nays. The nays were Riley, Friedman, and Burns.
Thank you. Next up, we have the last one, actually, Introductory Resolution 21-102, considered in planning. Councilman Strong.
Thank you, Madam President. I ask council for unanimous consideration of Introductory Resolution 21-102. It's a resolution authorizing the mayor to amend the agreement with greater opportunities for Broome for use of FY46 CDBG funding for carpet replacements.
Second.
Thank you. Any discussion? Councilman Friedman?
Thank you, Madam President. I would like to, I forget the language, request to abstain from this vote only because the initial legislation that's being amended did involve my employer, and I abstained from that vote. So even though this amendment doesn't affect me, out of an abundance of caution, because I abstained from the initial legislation, I would also like to request to abstain from this vote as well.
Madam President, I'd like to make a motion for our colleague, Councilwoman Friedman, to be able to abstain from the vote on Introductory Resolution 21-102 for the employment reasons stipulated.
Second.
Second. Aye.
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 Any other discussion on this?
Call the question.
Call.
Question be called. Thank you. Roll call, please.
Councilman Scaringi,
Aye.
Councilwoman Riley,
Aye.
Councilwoman Friedman abstains, Councilman Burns,
Aye.
Councilman Strawn,
Aye.
Councilman Scanlon,
Aye.
and President Resnetti.
Aye.
That's 6 ayes, 1 abstention, Friedman.
Okay, so now we come to our council member comments. We will start with District 7, Councilman Scanlon.
Madam President, no comment tonight. Merry Christmas, everybody, and Happy New Year. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilman Scaringi?
Same here, Madam President. Everyone stay warm. Have a very, very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year time with family and friends.
Thank you. Councilman Riley?
Thank you, Council President. So yes, I have a few things to say. Number one, we would like to recognize and support the family of Dr. Abdalazim. He was a very, very significant member of the community, and again, has done so much. So our hearts and prayers go to them on the passing of their dad and a world-renowned cardiologist. So I wanted to highlight that. Secondly, I wanted to highlight or bring to the forum, bring to everyone's attention that we have been having in the 3rd District a lot of issues related to the Binghamton High School. I know there's been a lot of rumors, a lot of noise, and whether you are a parent of a student in the high school, or you live or have attended the high school or had children that attended the high school, things that happen in the school district affect the city. And I know we keep a line of separation between the governance of things related to school issues, but when it pours into the neighborhood, it affects the city. And things that happened recently, particularly this year, as our children have gone back into the classroom, it has happened in the 3rd District, and it is happening quite frequently. So I behoove all of you, again, whether you're a current parent, a past parent, a parent of a past student, or you yourself are a past student, or if you're a resident at large, because if the school system is not upheld and maintained, it changes the neighborhood. If we don't ensure safety, if we don't discuss and define safety for everyone, then people move, neighborhoods change. And as city council representatives, that should be important to us. So there have been several meetings at the school. The school board had a meeting yesterday where there were a lot of lively discussions, both from parents, students, and residents. There is a portal where they're collecting information and they're encouraging all residents, all parents, and all students to submit their information on the Thought Exchange. The Thought Exchange. You can find that link on the school board's, the BCSD website, or you can reach out to your school board representative. I encourage everyone to put in their feelings, their thoughts regarding what has occurred in our school system and how we as a community can ensure that we are the school of choice, the school district of choice, and the city of choice. So I wanted to highlight that for everyone again. And finally, I'd like to close with a Merry Christmas, a happy holiday to everyone who celebrates both Christmas and Kwanzaa. And before we see each other, oh, we will see each other again, I forgot. Well, I was going to say the next time we see each other, we will be in a new year with new vision, new grace, new mercy. So I expect us to move forward with enthusiasm, doing all that we can to ensure that we're doing the best we can for those we represent. So again, happy holidays to each and every one of you. Stay safe, wear your masks, get immunized, get boosted, and let's fight Omicron. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilwoman Friedman.
Thank you, Madam President. I wanted to circle back on something that was mentioned early in the meeting, and that is the very upsetting and horrifying accusations that have come out against several local business owners in my district. And while I, would hate to see and do hate to see businesses being negatively affected, I also believe women, and I believe them when they say that someone has harmed them. And I work in the reproductive health field, and I know that statistically speaking, it's much more likely, rather than a false accusation, to actually have victims not say anything. And it takes a lot of bravery to publicly talk about a traumatic experience that has happened. And it's even scarier when the person who has harmed someone is in a position of power. And that's why a lot of times when we see powerful people, movie stars and other celebrities, people will sometimes come out all at once. And it might be something in the past, because it can be really scary to put a target on your back in some ways. And so I commend everyone who in any situation feels comfortable enough to speak about harm that has been caused. And I hope we can come to a place of healing. And I'm kind of at a loss for what to do, what are the next steps, but I felt compelled to address the the multiple accusations of sexual assault and abuse, because it's something that we don't talk about enough. I wish it never happened, but when it does happen, we're obligated to protect people who have been harmed, especially by those in power. And so, again, I don't know exactly how to move forward, but I hope that we as a city can be a resource for people, and we can uphold our values of safety and believing people when they say that they have been harmed, even if it's a hard pill to swallow, even if the person who did the harm is somebody that is close to us or that we like or value. So, I also want to highlight the Crime Victims Assistance Center, which is a resource in the community, a local nonprofit that I work closely with in my professional life, and they are a resource that's available. They do victim advocacy and help people navigate the potentially triggering or traumatic experience of filing a report, going to the hospital, talking to the police right after someone has been the victim of a sexual assault or another crime. So it is an issue that, it's an ongoing issue. Unfortunately, I wish it wasn't, but, hopefully we can create a space of healing and safety. And I also want to wish a Merry Christmas to those who are celebrating. I hope that it's a time of joy and health and merriment. And I will see you all, not next year, but I guess next Tuesday. Thanks.
Hey, Councilman Burns, you're up next.
Thank you, Madam President. Thanks to, I just wanted to mention that Dr. Muhammad Abdulazim, I got to know him the last few years of my dad's life. I had taken over my dad's life, his last 3 years, and Dr. Abdulazim was his doctor. And not only was he a great doctor and known worldwide and helped turn Binghamton into a first-class, world-class, known for our heart and health hospitals. So, but he was also a very wonderful person. He had a bedside manner that was just so wonderful. And when my father had his heart attack and he was in the hospital, and my brothers and sisters came from everywhere, and we basically, my family would, the family waiting area wasn't big enough for us, and he would take the time to speak to each one of us individually. He could have just said, listen, I'm going to talk to one of you and you can pass on the information. He was just so kind and so wonderful. And he did give us a few more years with our father. So I just wanted to mention that it is a big loss to our community, but it was a big loss to the Burns family as well. And thank you very much.
Thank you. Up next, we have Councilman Strawn.
Thank you, Madam President. I just want to take a moment to agree with my colleagues on a couple items. I just feel like not to repeat, but to mention, because a couple of these things are pretty close to me as well. First, with Councilman Riley, I definitely want to encourage participation and any input into the school district. My wife works in the Binghamton School District, and the level of concern obviously is great. And so I just hope that we can input and rally as a community to be constructive. There's so many things going around that are not true and just conjecture and just throwing things out there. Also, in my other life, work with traumatized children, and it's not a simple solution. We can't just just let them go or push them. You just can't do that. And there's a constructive way to do this, and I'm just hoping that we as a community can rally around. And it's hard for the people over there. They don't like this either. They want a world-class school. And nobody's happy about that. But if we can rally around them and hopefully be part of the solution and be constructive, I would really encourage that. Secondly, my daughter is an employee at one of the restaurants downtown in question, and just to see even the personal secondary, I say secondary, but the trauma that she's even going through as even just being there and being, just not sure what even happened while she was working and trying to work really hard just to make some money as a college student. That trauma is real for everybody, obviously the victims, but of course, even the other employees and people around there. So I would just, I can't speak into things that I don't know, and I wouldn't, be so brash to do so, but I think we can support the due process going on with the allegations and also rally behind the victims and, be on their side and help them through this process wherever it might be appropriate for us to do so. So I just encourage us to once again to be constructive and be supportive of that situation and help and be part of the solution as well. Thirdly, just want to send my sincere condolences to the Abdelzim family and on the passing of their father. And obviously it's already been said, but his contribution to his profession in this community was profound. And it will be a big loss to this community and to that family. So I just want to pass that along. And finally, I just want to say a sincere thanks to Mayor David and his 8 years as mayor of the city of Binghamton. Obviously, this can be a rough and tumble business, but he definitely poured his heart and soul into his job. He cares greatly about this city and moving it forward. And will continue to do so. So I just want to thank him and his administration, his office, his staff. And some of them obviously are going to continue in different capacities with us, and some may move along. But I just wanted to take this opportunity to thank him and his service, and finally just wish everybody a sincere Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays in this time of year, that we enjoy it with our friends and family, and just enjoy this final time of the year. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman Strawn. Okay, so I also just want to make a couple quick comments. I do agree with the comments that were made by all of you regarding what is happening in Binghamton High School. Same with the allegations with what's going on downtown. All of that is concerning and ought to be concerning to all of us, obviously. All of us here living in the city, in our city of Binghamton. But certainly when we're talking about allegations of sexual abuse and what's been going on downtown, it's even larger than our city. This impacts women all over the place, all over the country. And so I do hope that we can, with every challenge that comes our way, that we are able to somehow come together and come stronger on the other side. So I also wanted to say a big thank you to Mayor David for his service in our community. Thank you, Mayor, for everything that you've done the last few years. I do consider myself lucky to have had the opportunity to serve on this council under your administration. You put your heart and soul into our city, and your record shows how much you've committed yourself and how much you've cared for our community. I certainly wish you the very best in your new endeavor. Another thing I'd like to quickly mention is, well, actually, I want to say a big thank you to the community members that who showed up last Saturday night at Rec Park. It was beautiful. Carousel was on. We've talked about this before. This was the third and last time for this season, the holiday season, that the carousel was on and the lights were on and carriages were there, and it was just absolutely beautiful. It would have been, I think, perfect if it was snowing. It wasn't quite full for that. It was raining all day, but aside of that, it was just such an amazing, just warm, for lack of a better word, event. And a big thank you to those who showed up and donated a toy for Toys for Tots. We make a difference every year. Those bins get filled, and more kids are able to open up gifts on Christmas Day, and that means a lot. So whatever we do, it's never too small. And I thank you all for participating and supporting that event. Another winter solstice was yesterday, and so that means next time we meet, days are going to be a little longer. So I'd like to say that we're over the hump. We are, our year is coming to an end. I hope that I know we're going to meet again next week for a very brief special meeting, but I do want to say that as the year is coming to an end, that we all reflect. We've all looked at different opportunities and challenges that we've had all along in ways that allow us to grow personally, professionally, allow us to put our soul and heart into the work that we do for the right reasons for our community, allow us to love one another and respect one another and care for one another more than ever. And so with all that, I guess, I'll stop talking here, but I will say I wish everyone Merry Christmas and any other holiday that folks are celebrating. Be well, and we'll see you next week. Can I have a motion to adjourn the meeting,
So
please?
moved.
Second.
Thank you. Adjourned.